Hello, chat. Hello, hello. How we doing today? What's going on here? How you doing, man? Hope we're doing good. Oh my god. Oh man, he's coming out hot with a fucking tier 1 sub for 5 months. Throwing that sussy Jimmy. What's going on, man? Hope you're doing well. Today on Behind the Roleplay, we have Bashinskulls, aka Shane Mercury, which we have this long overdue five sussies for 5 months. Hell yeah, baby. Hell yeah. But yeah, so we have a Bashinskulls on Behind the Roleplay. He plays Shane Mercury, and before that, he played his character Lucas, which I can't remember Lucas's last name, but I remember him playing Lucas. Which Lucas was another side of the coin, because as we all know, Shane Mercury is part of the Triads, but Lucas was a part of the Ballas. He was one of like the OGs, I'm pretty sure. So we're gonna talk to him about the changes in just the way his character, the characters were very different, but obviously both characters were super well known in the city, and now Shane's basically at that point where like a lot of people know him. So we're going to no further ado, we're going to bring on Bashinskulls, or Bash, or Shane. So if you will, sit back, relax, have a nice drink or snack, and have a listen while we go behind the roleplay. Hello.
Yo.
How we doing? Hell yeah.
Good, man.
We out here. Thank you so much for coming on Behind the Roleplay. It means a lot.
Thank you, man.
Like I said, if you look on Shane, he has like a little dragon with TOT on the bottom of it when you talk.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta see this. Oh my god. Oh, yo, that's actually sick. Yo.
Yeah, it's like little flames like around your when you talk.
Yo, that is fire. No lie. That is insane, man. That is awesome, man. What's up, everybody?
So yeah, like as I say every talk show or podcast you want to call this, all the art that's on the screen was done by Pandai. She's a phenomenal artist. If you would like to commission her for any type of art, her link is right there for a Ko-Fi if there's any type of art that you would want her to do. But she's drawn everything on this set, which has been phenomenal, and she always blows me away with how talented she is. But yeah, so thank you again, Bash, for coming on to Behind the Roleplay. You've been in this community for quite a bit now, and you've had two characters in this community that has been very well known, right? Pretty much, like,
yeah,
a lot of people have known Lucas for quite a bit, and then when you were let go of Lucas, you brought on Shane. So we're gonna kind of, I guess, dissect it. I guess if you're okay with kind of starting with Lucas.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Yeah.
So with Lucas, when Lucas kind of came around, it was around that point where it was the Christmas update when things were kind of shifting. And Lucas took in charge of the Ballas. He was an OG?
Yep, he was leading the Ballas. He took in shoes that was kind of like unplanned, really, because a lot of stuff kind of happened on both behind the scenes and on the spot, pretty much. So I thought, why not, right? And kind of like wing it, because I haven't done stuff like that in like a year or two. So I was like, I can actually do some of the gang RP and stuff that I am passionate about with that kind of stuff, because I love doing intense movie-like theatrical style of gang RP, because it's fun to me, I like to make it fun for everybody.
For sure.
So Lucas was kind of like, yeah.
So Lucas, ahead, okay, so when you're kind of playing this character that's basically, obviously going from Shane to Lucas, they're like two different coins, right? But yeah, they're both kind of well known to like that, like you just automatically know that, like, them as characters, obviously, like just the way that they're always around. And so with the way that you've kind of introduced Lucas, were you ever intentional, like you like had the mindset, okay, like this is going to be a character that's kind of well known, or was it something that it catch you by surprise of like how like well known and like accepted that Lucas was a part of the city?
So for me, when I first like got to this city, it was very, I'm gonna be honest, like overwhelming at first because I didn't know what to expect, where it's going to go, right? Because I got brought here by a friend named Princess Milky, aka HB Tricks.
Hmm.
She was like the main reason that I decided to come move over here, and the second person was Raulito and a couple other people, right? And then I officially came in to the city. And when I first flew in, I was like wondering where this is gonna go, because it's a whole old character that I've used for a lot of years, and I always had the vision. I'm like, I'm gonna give Lucas the voice that Shane used to have back in another city, since it's a whole new city, whole
Hmm.
new character, and just pretty much go from there and just give people a little theatrical, like really fun gang RP intense character that he doesn't give a fuck. He's intense. He's savage. He's gonna be up your face and talk his shit, kind of thing. So that kind of deal, and kind of like know the ways of the streets in a way, that kind of deal. So
Yeah, so
I just didn't expect him to be
I mean,
that
it was a
huge.
lot. It was a big thing when you permit him. Like,
Yeah.
I think the amount, it was kind of like a. I've always had this kind of mindset whenever a character does perma that is so well known that
Hmm.
it kind of, not just like obviously people in RP like Morris, your perma, but the city
Right.
kind of shifts a little bit. Like it's kind of like even the city as a whole, like the server, like it mourns the perma of like, damn, like this character isn't gonna be around anymore, and it
Hmm.
kind of shape shifts right into trying to be something else. when when you were saying about how the back end stuff, if you don't mind kind of giving a little bit of light on that, because there are times where sometimes people don't understand like the back end stuff of RP that you kind of have to do,
Right.
right?
So like when it comes to like with Lucas originally, like I was because I came back in the city after an old city I used to be at, where that one was kind of no more. I kind of came back in the middle of a lot of changes with the server of Echo, right? So it was very awkward for me. So I didn't know what to do with him because he used to be ex Mayan, ex GSF, and he didn't. There's a lot of people that wasn't around that he knew at the time when he was first originally back. And so I was just like, winging it, letting the roleplay guide his way, right? And figuring that out, right? And it kind of led towards the ball turn at that time being. And then a certain individual who was running that ball set was kind of, there was a situation that I cannot say
Right.
because
Okay.
it is more, let's not to give that light of an attention to that specific
For sure.
group because they were kind of not really good people, let's just say the least, from an outside standpoint. It kind of just let me into a position to where Lucas was gonna run that gang, and I thought, why not try it? Can't give up now, right? Let's just wing it, see what happens, and go from there. And I wasn't expecting him to have the impact in the city or that character to have the respect in a city like that during that time because I didn't really expect it to be such an important character into that entire time because I didn't think it would have such a legacy like that. It
I,
was kind of unexpected.
oh, for sure. I think that a lot of people, when they play characters like that, it's kind of like a, you play the character, you kind of do your own thing, but you don't
Yeah,
expect it to kind of be like someone else's, like they look forward to it, if that makes sense. Like, you know,
right.
and the way that you play characters is you don't really juggle characters, do you? Kind of just kind of play like one character, or do you play other characters like off stream or anything like that?
I mainly play one character on stream, but going to be starting to mix it up really soon, where I'm going to be having a cop character, bringing cop RP
Oh,
back as well. So I'm about to bounce both triad content and cop RP just to get both sides perspectives, because I like to bounce it, and that Shane's story has progressed really well to a point where now I can balance both content side and really get both flowing, just to spice things up and have some more fun with the city, because I haven't really dived into the cop side of the city's perspective, because I'm so used to different cities, and here it's like a whole another animal, right? Where it gets crazy. There's a lot of people. It's just a lot of things that could go on, right? So I figured, why not? Because most of the stuff is on stream, sometimes off stream too. Because sometimes I want to give our gang a little less pressure of because a lot of people know they're on stream, and we never know what comes, because it comes with a lot of pretty crazy chaos sometimes. So yeah.
so I kind of want to get your perspective on something. Now,
hmm
a lot of people do stream RP, and so there's some people who are in the city who don't stream, obviously, because
Yep.
some people aren't really into that. If there's some advice you could give to someone who would want to stream RP, like what would be some kind of things that you would kind of recommend for them to do?
Okay, so for me personally, my advice to you guys, whether you like to stream or record, right? But personally, especially for streaming, um, have a group of dedicated moderators in your chat that is willing to help you operate, whether you're trying to do it full time or not. But have a group of people to keep it nice and positive and a good time for everybody, because there are people out there that will want to get attention, that wants to RDM, VDM you, try to disrupt your role play, or try to prevent you from progressing, right? Pay them no mind. Ignore the negative individuals or people that hate on your direction of where you want to take your character, because it's all about you. You are your director of your own story, your own storyline, and focus on that and just have a great time, especially when it comes to finding, let's say you found something very impactful and you don't want it to leak, have some scenes to cover certain things from leaking out, that kind of deal. So, yeah.
Mostly just kind of like keep things, at
Mhm.
about that way, even though it sucks that that stuff does happen pretty
Yeah,
regularly, but it's also
it
nice
does.
to kind of have that barrier of like, okay, like even though that you're enjoying, excuse me, watching me do
hmm
this, there are some times where you just like, I need this to be private, that way I can keep delivering what I've been doing for quite some time now,
Yeah, exactly,
What's
exactly,
going on,
man.
Bonnie? OMG TOT.
Hey, buddy. Hell yeah.
But so yeah, so with kind of how obviously we talked about how when Lucas first came around, what was like
hmm
kind of like Lucas's kind of like obviously how Shane, and we'll get into that here in a little bit. With
hmm
what was like like Shane's, like I would say like MO, but like because at like for a while Shane's name was Gas, like Shane filled
hmm
up gas, right? But
Right.
what was Shane's like kind of way to show himself in the city?
I pretty much like kind of did what when I first moved here, like the same approach, but like be more like lean, like not as intense like Shane used to be in another city. Because Shane's storyline originally, like he's an intense, like savage, and doesn't have that no fucks given mindset, and like
Mm.
he's really reckless in a way, right? Since this is like a whole different city, I had to approach Shane not acting like a OG, you know what I mean? He has to be a little bit more different now on how he meets people, because it's a whole fresh start. So I had to do like this whole like, yo, what's good? Like doing the one voice Andy, since Lucas had what Shane's voice used to have,
Right.
and that was his voice originally. And I thought, you know, I need to make it immersive for everybody and make it so it doesn't confuse people thinking it's Lucas, because such a identity that left a mark in our server
With
now.
a big mark, if anything,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah. So I was like, I'm very passionate on making things fun, experience for everybody, and I wanted to make it really still have that theatrical feel to everybody, and just go from there and just wing it out. And when I first moved in, I'm trying to remember exactly. I think I went to a restaurant, met BD there, and that's where it all kind of like started, where he was hanging in Southside for a little bit, figuring out his way and where Shane wanted to go at first, right? And more I feel about it, I'm like, Shane was ex-Blood. He was an ex-OG. And I figured, like, let's stick to his roots and try to see if that storyline would progress. So I went to Little Soul to see if I can spice something up and see if I can get a storyline to happen where I meet some of the higher ups or whoever and try to get that to happen, right? And it did. And I talked to Zhang, and Cooter and Uncle was there, and I was like, "Hey guys," it was really because it's hard to like introduce yourself when it's three intense motherfuckers, right? That are out there, that are widely known to triads, undefeated in the city. They have a huge reputation, massively known, and everybody knows not to mess with them, kind of deal. And they have such history, right, and such lore of stories. So I'm walking in there going, I got to be careful how I approach, and just try to ask them, hey, what does it take to get down with y'all? Like, I'm very interested in joining y'all, blah, blah, blah. We had a good conversation that was leading up to that. And then it started progressing. They had their talk, and then they gave me a position. All right, you're going to work here. Your first thing to do, you're going to find a gas truck, bring it back over here, and I found that gas truck in under like 5. Wait, no, 5. It was like 10, maybe 15 minutes to look for it, and it got more funnier and really cool and really immersive with them. And they're like, "All right, you're gonna attach this gas pipeline to the gas pumps to all of them. Make sure that they're filled. And you're gonna operate this business, and you're gonna do your thing." And it's pretty much like the trial of a test, pretty much. Like it's pretty much you're pretty much showing them your loyalty, pretty much, in a way. And it was like a lot of trials that went through that month or so. So it was a lot of fun with that. So, and then the more further it went, he became. I was not expecting Shane to get known really that quickly, because I thought, new character. I wasn't expecting him to have kind of a legacy impact in a way that quick, being known as he has a nickname in the city now where he's the baby dragon,
Yeah.
baby salamander. Um, he has like a whole nickname and everything, and like everybody knows him as the guy who did this or that. And most people call him the gas boy when it comes to people talk shit with the gang beef when you're just a gas boy. And like I love that shit where it's like everything makes it really fun. And I got to know Sonny and everybody in our gang, and I saw this. You know how Fast and Furious movies, it's kind of weird example. They have that family vibe with everybody.
Yeah, yeah,
They
yeah,
know
yeah.
each other for such a long time. They got chemistry, so it's like a big thing. So me trying to fit in with everybody, being a whole different person, was really fun and very different for me, because this was for me the first time in my RP years where I'm really having a lot of fun. There's no drama, no bullshit. Everybody's there to make theatrical RP and fun gang RP and just make an immersive storyline and just have a great fucking time, because they're there for the same reason, And it's been a lot of fun with them, and they're very creative with a lot of things, and it's a lot of fun. So yeah, man.
So I kind of want to see what you said right there is with how obviously when joining in such a big group and very well known group,
Mhm.
was there ever like a part where you kind of hesitated that because where it was there's such a big group that
Mhm.
because with my biggest thing whenever I'm I keep wanting to make a crim but like part of me gets
Right.
kind of like because I like like whenever you join
Mhm.
a big group, everyone knows each other, right? Like everyone
Right.
kind of they're already familiarized with each other. They've been through so much together, and then when you come in, you're so new. Um,
Mhm.
there is a bit of, for me personally, there's a big hesitation. Was that, did you ever have that with kind of joining? Obviously, like you said, they're kind of like this big family. Was there a moment
Right.
where you kind of had that fear of like, this isn't, you're afraid that something's not going to kind of work well or mesh well, and you may have to not be a part? Or was it kind of like a, as soon as you joined, it kind of just kind of fell into place with the whole gas station thing?
I think with joining such a huge story-driven lore group, where they're such a massive family and they treat each other like brothers and sisters, right? And being such a new person coming in, where you're catching them off guard a little bit coming in, right? So they got to see how you are, how you react with everybody. So getting to know everybody was kind of nerve-wracking a little bit, right? But that weight of that nervousness kind of went off the more I got comfortable with everybody, and the more because they're very open, and I get a little nervous at times when it comes to, because I know chemistry is a big thing,
Mm,
and going there was like getting to know Philo and everybody. A lot of them kind of helped me be myself a little more, not be as like nervous about it, and just like vibe with everybody, just try to vibe whether you're likable or not, and just go in there and just have a good time and just try to build a bond and chemistry with each person in that gang, and just going from there and just showing that you're willing to ride or die from them and just have a great time and just do whatever it takes to survive the cold streets.
for
So
sure.
it's like it was not too difficult, but it's like it's more like nerve wracking, just to say the least. It makes you feel nervous, but the more you get that tense off your shoulder, you'll feel a lot better about it. It can be like that for a lot of people because it's a lot of gangs or people in general in the server are very clicky. To all the new people out there, it may feel like that, but don't be discouraged. Just try to open up your personality and open up your good old self and just be your goofy self and have fun. Just let it ride, let it naturally flow with everybody. And go from there. So.
Sure. So with how Lucas was in charge uh
Mhm.
of Ballas, and then going from Shane that's kind of working his way up, was there ever a moment
Mhm.
where you've kind of, you're, obviously you have experience with kind of running a gang, you can fairly
Right.
say that, right? Like, like
Mhm.
you have a fair experience with that. Is there a moment
Yeah.
where when there's a moment to show that, to show leadership, is there a moment where you want to take that leap, or do you want to like still follow like that Shane kind of, like how this is still very new to
Mhm.
Shane, like experience wise?
For Shane, he was originally a leader for the Bloods, so
Mm-hmm.
he's like going from back because he has like a lot of lore with him from being like a soldier for the Bloods for another county, and then going from a different county to becoming a leader. And with him being a triad, it came with a lot more responsibility, right? Because there's a lot of they earned the respect that they earned because they worked for it. They done a lot of story driven, a lot of wars, and a lot of beats, and a lot of hood politics for the Triumphs to get to that point. Because Zhang and all them worked very hard to get to that respect. Because it's not easy, especially when it's a city that's always there to test you, right? Especially with recently, where a lot of new people are in town now, so a lot of people are seeing a lot of like a couple new people that are in the gang now, and they're throwing a lot of the tests at us right now, right? So people are trying to see how we would react, especially with me, with streaming a lot of the triad content now. So I'm seeing people watching me to see how I will respond to it or how I would handle the situation. Because now Shane is in the spot, like he's willing to like do whatever he can to help the gang and show his loyalty. But a lot of people, like I kind of gave my number out a lot, like just to give that less pressure for the higher ups to not worry about so much bullshit, then bring it up to them and go, hey, this is what they want to talk. And I set it up for them, and then because I'm a very social person,
Mm-hmm.
which makes it easier because I'm so used to doing hood politics shit with other role play with the previous characters and stuff like that, and it kind of made it easy. for me to like get Shane out there and known a little bit, but I wasn't expecting him to like really be like, "Yo, where's Shane at?" Like, so it kind of was a little weird for everybody to see Shane be like super, super, super out there because I kind of was out there like that. So it's kind of like because it's not very smart to give your number out too much to everybody.
Yeah, I've noticed that a lot of times too. Like not even just with myself, but like people around me. I've noticed like when they give their number, like I know was it Street. He doesn't give his number out to anybody. Like not even the
Yep.
officers around him.
Yeah.
I know Bishop. You know, a lot of people just don't give their number out, and I'm just like, never really had an
Yeah.
issue. You know, but I guess like that is like a big issue that a lot of people do have to kind of deal with. You know.
Mhm. Right. Right. And so, like, when it comes to that, a lot of the guys like, you shouldn't really give your number out like that because you never know what somebody can do or whatever. Because you never know what to expect, right? Somebody can be like an enemy undercover and really try to sabotage us or go out there to really try to bring us down. You know what I mean? Because you know how it be when it comes to such a group that is so intense, ruthless, and so known. Like, a lot of people are going to try to take that spot from us, you know, and a lot of people are going to try or whatever it may be, you know.
For sure. So there's one thing I kind of want to see what you feel, but like for somehow some way, you made gas seem like to pump gas seems so fucking cool. I don't know why. I don't know how you did it, but like it's like one of those things where like you go to another gas station, you're like, damn, like it's not here. And there's been times where I catch myself, I'm just like, oh fuck it, I wanna RP with Shane real quick, like on Cree or on Jimmy, whatever. And I'll just stop by and it used to be, I don't know if it may serve me wrong, but originally when you had Shane at the gas station, there was like nobody really at the gas station kind of hanging out. But you've made the gas station like a hub now, to where like everybody goes to hang out there. And it's just like it's so crazy to think of that like a gas station, you know, like
it's like our main spot where a lot of us like vibes at with a lot of the gang. Like I know a lot of people do go there from time to time, but I definitely notice the same thing where it's like a massive hub now where a lot of people are coming by now. I'm noticing even new people are just coming there now. Like a lot of people are starting to come by there frequently or meeting a lot of us or introducing some of us. And we had one group actually rob the gas station, and they learned the hard way that nope, don't mess with our business, dude.
the people do actually
Don't leave
go there
that.
and try to like rob the gas station.
Yeah, we had one group come by, and they learned the hard way, and it was hilarious. Like they didn't realize what they were stepping on, whose toes was, and they learned the hard way because we told them you might want to leave now. We told the hostage girl like, hey, get out, you're fine. This is our business. They're not supposed to be messing with our business, like kind of shit. So. And these two guys, we were like, you guys better get out of here because it's going to go down if you don't get the fuck out of here. And we gave them one chance and they got blasted.
Jesus.
It was really funny. Like, you're on Little Soul, motherfucker. Get out of here. Fuck you think this is?
Jesus Christ. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so people do try to do that. Damn, all right.
It's very rare too, which is good. Like I'm glad it's rare because like
I mean, I would hope it'd be rare, right? Because like Jesus.
It's hilarious because like they don't realize like what the fuck? There's a gang outside the store. I can't even imagine how they were feeling for a group of people that are new in town that has no idea where they're at, and like it's really funny where the RP can take because that's what I love about scenarios like that, especially when it comes to territories and how a gang should conduct their territories. And I love that because not only you never know what to expect because every day when I go into the server, you never know if you're going to be walking into a war or a beef, or you never know, you might see one of your friends just get shot at, and you don't know because everything is so unpredictable. And I love that.
Or even a Bigfoot and then a robot coming to your gas station.
That too, yeah. And it always catches me off guard. Like I'm like, what the fuck? There's a Sasquatch, and everyone's like, what? Really? Yeah. I'm like, yeah. And just like how one day I woke up. My boy Wardell woke up, couldn't feel his leg. I'm like, oh shit, I was not expecting this. So we had to like rush him to the hospital, and we were trying to save his life and shit. And like, where's the damn doctors? Me and Cooter and everybody were just trying to get the doctors to show up. And I love how we have this brotherhood mentality with everybody. And that's what I love about our crews that makes us so unique to a lot of different gangs. 'Cause a lot of gangs don't really have their crew lasting such a long time besides BD, because everybody, us and BD are the longest term gangs in the city that never really disbanded, right? So there was a
Yeah.
lot of story with that, right? But most of the city's gangs are either 8 different sets or random people, or like you just see a lot of them just either last or not last, and it's unfortunate for a lot of people because it's not easy when it comes to that stuff.
So with kind of how you said it's not easy, there are times I've noticed when like kind of just watching your stream just in passing that like with Shane and with the Triads, like they also tax like a what was it, cargo, right? Like
Yep.
so there are times where I've noticed you like you're just driving around and then someone drives like a particular van, you go, wait a sec, that's cargo. You know, you gotta like turn the car around and ask them kind of what's going on. Is there a moment where it feels kind of like a job in a sense of like making sure that like that balance and that like that what's the word I'm kind of looking for, that like reassurance that you like that you're there, you know what I'm saying, like your eyes, you're always around, you're always kind of seeing what people are kind of doing.
Yeah, like I feel it's kind of like a job, but at the same time, it's like you're holding down something that you own, that your crew claims and own, because we can claim something, because any gang can claim something, and if they can hold that down, they can hold that down. Like us, we got a lot of people that can hold it down. So therefore, with that responsibility, people gotta know, like, fuck around and find out. You'll know the hard way, like if you pay or not, or you'll know that we don't really mess around. So when we pull up, be like, hey man, I said, are you running cargo? If they go, yeah, I'm like, all right, man. Well, you got to pay that 3K tax because, we tax that, man. I get you're making your bread. We got to make our bread too in the way too, man. Like it's the streets, man. Like some people either are with it or some people aren't, or a beef sometimes happens where nobody wants to pay and stuff goes down, and sometimes it'd be like that. You just never know what to expect because it creates a lot of either story-driven beef or one on days or one on shootouts, and that's it, right? And they learn, or maybe they don't, right? That's what I love about it because it's always unexpected, right?
We've had people
So,
try and like do that where they're just like, come on, like don't do this, like, you know, let's talk about
yeah,
this or whatever, and try and like swing it down the amount. But like, and we've had this discussion earlier about just money in general, like even though
right.
like money is never really the like the driving
Not the
point,
issue.
not the
Yeah,
issue, but it's just like it's like saying earlier, like how I said that, you know, with any type of business that you do, like if you were to open a food business even and go, hey, free food for everybody, it's like
right.
it's kind of weird because then it's like there's no, I don't know, there's no like no connection or anything like that, right?
Right.
And so
Right.
when doing that tax, it's like even though it may be a hassle because then you gotta like pay, but at the same time, it's like it's this weird like connecting loop where like it just helps things flow better, you know?
Yeah. And it also like builds more like respect between both parties or and stuff, and really shows more communication too with people who you meet too. It kind of like also brings into that too. So it
For sure.
also lets me meet more people and gets like, especially for new people that are running it's always interesting to see their reaction too. It's always never unexpected, especially with certain people. Like like we know certain people will pay and some won't, and like you just never know. That's why you have to have that gun in your lap and have that gun in your hand, because like when you're taxing something, you're expecting resistance most of the time, and that's just how it is, right?
For sure.
So it's always nerve wracking when you come up, especially if let's say you're by yourself for a couple hours. Well, because some of us has either other characters or obviously everybody has lives, right? Because everybody does, right? Not everybody can be around as much as like me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And especially some of us who could be doing behind the city scenes too, and stuff like that. So how we all know how hectic that can be, right?
Oh my god, absolutely. I mean, there's always times where I'll get so consumed by it out of like stuff I'm still doing, like, for RP, but like it's out of
Yeah.
city like planning stuff or even like spreadsheet stuff. It's just like sometimes it's it's like hang on a second, this is RP, but at the same time it's like it's needed in this weird way,
Yeah.
like it's needed to for that balance to kind of have. Um, excuse me. So I kind of want to
Hmm.
move to a different part of role play
Okay.
that I've noticed that you're starting to grasp more onto.
Hmm.
Obviously you do play arena quite a bit.
Yep.
So and obviously there has been times where whenever you do like a bank truck or shootout or something like that, like
Mhm.
that role play, I know it gets a lot of hate, right?
It
Like
it does.
it
It
gets
can.
so much hate, and like so I kind of want to hear, obviously you've kind of discussed a little bit about it, but I kind of want to hear, like, obviously you're taking the time, and again it's going to sound kind of like a
Hmm.
kind of unsettling, not unsettling, but it's kind of like a thing that's it's a back and forth thing where it's like you're putting time into practice, like you're shooting,
Hmm.
right? You're putting that
Right.
practice, but then it's like at the same time people are going to argue, be like, well, you should just practice that in character. It's like, well, I'm not always going to get in shootouts in character. Like you can't
Right.
like just go to
Hmm.
someone, shoot them, and be like, all right, I got
Yeah.
But like, so how has that been? Have you always done arena, or has it been recently that you've kind of want to double up on your shooting?
With such a crew that is such a family, which is especially with this history of story and being known as one of the top gang in the city and with a reputation that's so intense, right? Especially with Shane, since I'm spicing up Shane with some of his old roots coming back, making him a bit more savage and I got because I have to stop having him be friendly now because
Right.
a lot of the times now, a lot of people think it's gonna be sweet, right? So with such a gang that is so unique, right, where everybody can shoot, everybody got that chemistry, they got that brotherhood, they ride or die for each other, right? So with me, I'm with such a new member that's in the gang now. I have that responsibility because what if I'm selected, right? I got to make sure I give them that confidence, like, hey, I got this. You don't have to worry, right? So I've been like going to arena, like before I fly in, and practice shooting, practice positioning, stuff like that, because that comes with such a big responsibility because you got four other dudes with you that you're also responsible to make sure they survive, right? Because that's your family, right? So with that, I just been like, every gang has A, B, C, D team, whatever, right? So with Shane, whenever he is selected, I've been grinding, trying to make him prove himself, right? Having that little like, hey, whenever you do bring me in, I'm gonna give you that confidence. Like, hey, you don't have to worry, you don't have to fret. I can handle myself as much as we can make sure everybody else is okay, kind of thing. So I'd been like grinding in arena for a bit, and it also helped with the progression of the story with doing bank trucks with the guys, or whenever there's a war or a beef when we're sliding somebody, which I've been brought out a lot more recently, which has been fun. It's been such an adventure and journey, right? I'm getting used to everybody, so it's also helping me progress his story and everybody else's story, and pretty much approach it in such a tactical way. Because yeah, it's not all about shooting and roleplay. Obviously,
Mhm.
everybody, yeah, you should be role playing, not really shooting 24/7, right? But when it comes to gang wars, you got it's you pretty much should be able to balance both, right? And a lot of the guys in the gang has done a really good job with balancing both because everybody's all about the role play. Like everybody's all passionate about making it such a movie feel with everybody. So I had to like balance it out because I used to be all about I'm all about RP. Like you shouldn't be all about shooting, but now with such a city like us in Echo and the gang RP being so intense, yeah, Arena may have made it competitive now, and yeah, it can get a little toxic with gang RP sometimes
Oh,
here
for
and
sure,
there.
right? I mean, that's kind of just with anything that you kind of like have that
Hmm.
competitiveness with it, right?
Yeah, and I think people are just not used to what it's become now because everybody's passionate about their gang now. Everybody's all about that rivalry, right?
Hmm.
And with us being hated and or loved, right? Because it's 50-50 nowadays, and since there's a lot of new people finding out who we are and learning who we are now, because there's a lot of new folks now even though there's still a lot of OGs like yourself and a lot of the legacy and other gangs that have been around for such a long term. And with me balancing both now, and like especially I can't be as hectic or crazy with Shane as I used to be because he's like just a part of a family. He's not a higher up, so he has a lot more responsibility to make sure that he's not starting shit or stirring up things that would get everybody pissed. So there's a lot to that side of things. So
Well,
yeah, man.
it's kind of like a it's like a balance, like you were saying earlier about how like you're giving your number out, but it's kind of like
Hmm.
it's a way for people to kind of feel that triads aren't just this like to themselves, where it's like you kind of like the opening hand, like hey, like if you
Yeah,
need to talk or anything, like I'll be the messenger type thing, and be
yeah.
like,
Yeah, that's exactly what I was kind of approaching with Shane now because like I'm trying to make it easier on everybody where they don't like have to wake up to like spam to miss phone calls, right? Or like
mm,
I'm making it easier for let's say Zhang and Sunny, Big T, and everybody's doing a job or whatever, and they're all doing their responsibilities, right? And everybody calls Shane a lot now, or comes to me a lot now, which is it's kind of like a weird feeling for me because I feel like I might be stepping on toes sometimes when it comes to that because I'm doing a lot of like the politics a little bit lately, and I feel awkward at times because it's like, man, I hope I'm not pissing everybody off for taking on the shoots at people. There's a lot of people that's gone to me lately for like, hey, is your higher ups now? Like, blah blah blah. We need to talk, and so I kind of like been doing a lot of like here and there talk, and then I bring it up to the guys like, hey, do you want to talk? This is what's happened, and here's the message. I'm kind of been like the messenger in a way, trying to make it easier and less stressful for everybody in a way, which is fun. It's nerve wracking too.
I feel like it wouldn't really be step on anybody's toes for that, right? Because it's kind of like
Right.
like if you can tell it's just full on just bullshit, right? Like you just feel like
Yeah.
there's no beneficial. Like you're just like, I'm just not gonna like worry about that or bring that to the table. But if obviously if it's something that like definitely needs to be looked at, like you're like, hey, like this is something that I think is worth your time, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It, it's been an adventure lately too. Like it's been a lot. We just got out of a beef, and there's a lot of like stuff that is intense and stuff.
What
And
kind of
it's
beef you
been
been like? What like I'm very behind on like
so
RP stuff going on.
we just got done a month ago with the war with the Reapers, and then we just got out of a like beef slash war or whatever you call it, because it's like wasn't really like uh set term war with the mob. So we just recently got out of that, and it's been spicy ever since then. And we have been just recently making our money. Pretty much, we're all just like we're getting back to normalcy now. We're stacking the bread. There's a lot of stuff going on with all of us, like doing some cool stuff. And we have a group of 2 people that wants to do something with Zang and try out records. So hopefully we'll see something cool with that because I definitely want to see Stride Records be like more officially like on the map, and even though it is because it's already a business, right? Because it's run by Zhang. He's the CEO, right? There's 2 people that were interested in like doing advanced stuff and all this other things. I'm like, ooh, that'd be interesting to see that because I think a lot more people needs to see the human side of us and like really see like we're not dickheads. Like, even though we're ruthless, we're savages. We're
Mhm.
all like we're a big family. Just a lot of people have this stigma and like, yeah, you should be nervous when you encounter us because you never know because you don't want to piss us off because that's poking the bear. Because when the mountain dragon roars, you know exactly what happens, and that's what I love about the lore story with the music set. What they have done, it's really cool what they've been doing. I love how creative the story has gotten, especially walking into such a new group of people that I've been getting to know for the last 5 months. And it's been such a journey and an adventure, and ever since that last war we got out of, I felt less nervous of being myself and just try to treat everybody like a family and getting to know a lot more of us a lot more when we're doing stuff together and knowing how everybody moves when it comes to jobs and stuff. So it's been really entertaining and really fun and relieving in a way
I
because
feel
I'm getting
like
to know everybody.
Yeah, I feel like whenever you're kind of doing something like that, like having
Mhm.
like a war or having some type of conflict where you're bumping heads with like a group or something,
Yeah.
and you're a part of it, I feel like there is a way for you to oddly enough like bond with like the group in general to kind of like, hey, you're not in this
Mhm.
alone. Like where I'm kind of like I'm here by your side, you know?
Yeah, and I felt like I befriended a lot of them too. Like I felt a lot of us has growing like a good friendship outside of it too. Where like some of us are playing games together and doing a lot of stuff outside of role playing, having a really good time, chopping it up, just getting to know everybody because everybody's personality is still different and everybody's still unique, right? And there's two people that I know from Old City, which made things a lot easier for me because I have Mikey and Jaden, who I known for so many years, who which helped with my journey of trying to know everybody. Like it made it a lot easier for me because I know how Mikey and Jaden moves, and I know how they position themselves when it comes to a lot of the gang stuff, which made it easier for me to know how everybody else flows because they know how everybody else flows, and it made it easier for me to get things like read the room, like figured it out, and that kind of
Well,
deal.
that was
So
yeah. I mean, there's always gonna be ways of kind of just like, you know, there are times where I've noticed that even in gangs, like sometimes people don't mesh well with others,
yeah,
you know, and it's kind of
yeah,
like whenever some conflict happens, you can just see that everyone's not on the same page. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone's
yep,
kind of they're not as a group. They're more of just about it. They're thinking of themselves while they're in the group.
yep,
And I always feel like that's kind of that doesn't even have to be only towards gang RP. That could be towards
hmm,
any group, like even just civ groups in general. Kind of like,
yeah,
if someone in your friends group in RP is like, they try and find ways to betray you or some of the sorts like that, it's just like, it does oddly enough, like, and I
hmm,
don't think there's nothing wrong with it, but like spend time with each other, see, like play other games, stuff like that, kind of build that rapport that, and it makes even RP even stronger
yeah.
connection, I think, through the person that you're RPing with or the group that you're RPing.
And that's the one thing about us, like that I noticed. Like, yeah, there's times where everybody might have their one day where they fight with each other, but you can see that family bond they have. You can see the natural relationships with everybody. You can because with us, I notice how deep everybody loves each other and how they click with each other. Because it's such a different experience compared to a lot of the gang RPs in other cities or other gangs that I've done in this city. And I could just see how much people care about this gang and how much they care for each other. And it's such a different experience for me, which I really loved. So, which makes it a lot more helpful with that and seeing how people act when it comes to, let's say, something they didn't like. All right, yeah, everybody has that, oh, fuck you, or whatever. But
Mm-mm.
next day later, it's like they obviously have that talk with each other, and then obviously we're back vibing. Like like I noticed that with everybody, especially the Com brothers are a really hilarious group. Shay's brothers, who are one of the other new people that are with us as well, and I'm seeing how they forged coming in too with their brother Shay, who was a longtime member, and seeing them how they connected with us, and it's been a lot of fun with them too. Like everybody's been such a blast because everybody's so different and funny. Because everybody has their different style of humor, which makes it really more interesting. And seeing people's cars speaks their style of personality too. Like
Mm.
seeing Raina's car with the livery, with her custom livery on it, on her Super BRZ was so cool to see recently, because everybody has that style of clothing, style of like car taste, style of how they talk and stuff, and it's really entertaining to see how different everybody is, because everybody's so different, and I love that.
Yeah, stuff like that I've always eat up. It's just like, I've seeing other people's like with their style and like the links that some people go for, like if their character is like very homeless, they'll get the they'll get the like rusty cars, or they'll get like a bicycle that's like that rusty bike, but then sometimes people who,
Yeah.
you know they when they they're up that higher lifestyle, it's like, you can see the style, or their way that they live life just by that.
Exactly. And I love how much everything has come this far lately, especially everything like
I feel like
it's
it's gotten
been.
more, hasn't it? Like since like going that leap of having to where Shane's kind of like you said
Mhm,
before, like having that gas and where it's just been a long
mhm,
period of time to where it's like you're not there as much anymore now as Shane, right? It's like kind of like you've gotten a bit
mhm.
more responsibility to where like you're still be there, but when duty calls, you're gonna be like out doing whatever needs to be, right?
Yep, exactly, and especially with the more responsibility, especially with us now, like especially me now that I'm full trial now. Now there's more responsibility. I gotta be approach everything very cautiously and do what I can to hold it down. Because especially like now, especially with everything with now like the cop stuff. Like recently, we saw cops are being very interesting with how they approach bank trucks and everything now, and everything is becoming really interesting. Especially with Shane, everywhere he goes, you even hear cops EMS knowing Shane as, oh, that's the baby dragon, and it's like it's so weird to me. Like everywhere I go, like he kind of like became this really like odd like celebrity status in a way, even though not to really say that because like he's just way like really super known that I didn't expect for him to have because it's like no matter where you're at, it's like when someone arrests him, he goes, "Oh, you're the baby dragon I hear about." I'm like, "Yep, that's me." And it's like so like what? Like how do you know? Or oh, you're Shane? I'm like, yeah, and it's weird. It's it's such a weird feeling for me
Well, it's a
because it's
good
like coming
weird though,
from
right? It's kind of like that,
yeah.
like you've made an impression, and now it's like you don't even have to really talk to him. It's just you're already being recognized for like just filling up gas.
Yeah, and it's funny, and I love it because it's like it became such like a cool, unique thing with its own identity, and I got to meet so many different types of people through that, and it's really interesting, especially for new folks. Seeing that we're operating a gas station, and I show them, yeah, you see that dragon on the right side of the gas station, that floating, rotating ball sign? That's how you know that's our business, and it's so cool to like introduce people how the city is because I like to tell new folks like, hey man, the gang RP goes 0 to 500 here. Like here in this town, like everybody's all about the high quality of role play, and I love trying to get new people into seeing how cinematic the city is because I keep telling people like, man, the city's evolving and growing, and you're seeing a lot of crazy stuff and a lot of cool stuff evolving, especially now with the whole redacted. And I'm seeing a lot of the new changes. Like whenever stuff move, I find it really refreshing when things move around. And you see the city kind of like come together doing mysterious like where's this at, hey, do you know where this, and everybody's trading for information during a time where you notice like certain months you don't really see much wars or beefs when everything is different and changed and
Mhm.
everybody's figuring things out. And then once everything is figured out, you notice how everybody's reacting to things and how things are changing, and it's really interesting too, seeing how different people approach things now, especially when they find out everything. And everything is just flowing differently now, especially now, with everything that is different now, especially like now it's just like it's a whole different ball game of how everything is feeling now. Like I've noticed a lot of the like the shooting aspect when it comes to like let's say you're doing crime or wars now, like a lot of stuff feels way different than what we're used to now. So now we're like everybody's
Like
figuring
what's
out.
different if you don't mind me asking?
Like just the guns, like everything, like SNS through each gun, like the SNS used to not be as great when it, but now it's like headshots are a lot more important now, and not many people are noticing. Like even though some people are, but now the way gang RP for gang wars are approached so differently now, and especially with everything with all the changes, because I love how a lot of the changes that are there that are known, and some of them that are secret, like that are surprise, right? And it's lately it's just been like, oh dang, I shot that guy during this beef when they pulled up. Like what? I dropped him with an SNS? What? Like
Mm.
that's new. Like okay, so everything is kind of like changing with how we approach what we buy, or what everybody pretty much looks at when it comes to that stuff. Because now with everybody approaching RP in a more different way now because the city feels so much different than it was back in the early Echo days slash MV days, whatever you call. Because I was there when it's like first couple months of its 2.0, whatever. So a lot of seeing the involvement in everything has been really, really incredible to me.
Oh,
So,
absolutely. I mean, I mean, I've been around when it was Envy, and
mm,
the just change in, I don't know. It's like I don't know. It's for what you said. Even on a Civ side of things,
yeah.
it's been a drastic change in just like on what you can do. Obviously, like with like interactions,
Mhm.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
For the longest time, I think it was very. It felt like it was just like it was just a
Mm-hmm.
Crim server. That's how it felt for the longest time. But now it
Mm-hmm.
feels like it's kind of like a bridge that's like going through Civ to just even Crim. Like,
Yeah.
it's not just separate. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like you can
Mm-hmm.
join on certain things like that, right? Like,
Yeah.
just to kind of feel like there's not the separation, or like feel like it's forced to not be kind of together, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And I noticed like especially the music industry side of the RP now, I noticed how much has massive it become now. And seeing that side of the lore, like we saw the whole legacy naughty thing and the whole legacy and other rappers like going at it, right? And it's
Yeah.
been such interesting from a gang's perspective to see two groups of like whether it's a gang member doing like beefs like diss tracks and stuff and seeing people getting hyped no matter of all sides, Civs, EMS, whatever, and just seeing legacy parties or whoever party it really is, just seeing people coming together and just getting passionate about it is really cool to me. Seeing how much it became such a variety city now. Because everybody's so different now. Like there's a mob now, there's a Russian gang now, there's like this new hospital pillbox is a thing now, and I'm still trying to transition from Mount Zona to pillbox. It's still awkward to me because I'm so used to
Yeah.
Zona, and it's so weird seeing how much changed with that too. When it comes to when you're so used to something and it's like, what the heck? It throws you off a little bit, and seeing how much story changed like with everybody, and like seeing Chi Chi's like Chi Chi, she's like involving with her story and seeing her like really involved now, and she's kind of like close with us, and all that's cool
Is
stuff.
she
And
a
seeing everybody.
triad though?
No, she's
I'm
not.
full mediting this. Is she triad?
No, she's
Oh,
not.
she's not.
She's like uh, it's I don't really know. It's like with her, she's like besties, and I get it's hard to really like explain because it's like that storyline. It's like really interesting. So she's like she I don't know. It's like really weird because it's such a cool thing I guess with people, like how we do talk with people, like or how we conduct things with everybody. It's like really interesting. I think Chi Chi's like just a person of unique with everybody, right? Like a valuable person that you want to have to do business with in a way, or just
Yeah.
people in general. Especially, I noticed the city now where everybody's doing more business now, doing sit downs. All right, let's talk business. Everybody's doing that kind of like style, like movie style. Like, all right, how about we talk business how we conduct like let's say we won't tax you or we won't tax you or whatever it is, right? Like I'm noticing a lot more gangs are taxing certain things or a lot certain people are like I don't like how this is being taxed and there's some things that are being taxed that I never expect would get taxed. So it's also adding things and spicing things up to the city too. I noticed, and it's we're seeing a lot more gangs either beef or talk business, and it's really nice to see that because I'm noticing a lot of the relationships with a lot of gangs now are either sparking up that rivalry that we're seeing. Like you see how GSF and Vagos they're always going to go at it. Vagos
Yeah.
and GSF, all of them are still going to go at it at all times. So that's lore for them, right? And it's really interesting to see new gangs come in, and you just never know what to expect. Because some come to us, actually sit down, introduce themselves, or some introduce differently. And it's really interesting how people approach everything now. It's so different now. And I
So
love that.
I do want to ask you something though. So
Okay.
do you feel like Shane could ever release a song? Like just do like
Yes.
really? Oh shit. Okay.
I am actually working on a couple things. I'm doing a metal project first. I'm bringing to the city the first ever metal album, and I'm bringing something that's gonna
Album.
hopefully maybe. Yes.
Oh damn. All right.
Yeah. When it comes to a metal project, because as someone who is outside the RP, I'm a metal vocalist. I sing in 3 different bands, play guitar in one, and I've done vocal stuff and vocal streams a lot of times, and I wanted to bring echo that is so filled with pop music, rap music, because that's such a big genre, right? And a lot of the population in gaming is that style of genre. So I figured me coming in with such a different style of music, and maybe I could create something where I could cause everybody to do like the first mosh pit for the city, or the first ever like mixing 2 different genres together, and just see if I can create something not only with the gang side and be the first person to bring metal to gang RP and stuff like that. Because I figured I think the city needs it. I think it'll be cool to refresh something
That's
for
something
everybody.
different and unique, right? Because I mean, again, there's nothing wrong with like rap or pop, but like
Yeah.
it's definitely something that hasn't really been brought around like at all. I know that there was one point where they were
Mm-hmm.
doing like what was it? Like a what was it? Like you vote for like what genre of music you kind of want to see in the city. And a lot of people did pick
Mm-hmm.
rock and like jazz and just like different things that was just like,
Yeah.
you know, that isn't really brought out much. And I think that, you know, if you know when that project does get done, I think it's going to definitely turn some heads, and I think it would definitely motivate people to expand a little bit, right?
Yeah, and I'm like, really excited to see where that's gonna take, because like a lot of us do music. Like Trayvon does rap, Philo's doing rap, Zang's doing rap, and Cooter just got his like song out there, and he's mixing that country rap twist, and it's really cool to see what he's doing. And I figured with me doing metal first, and then eventually learn how to rap, and eventually do a stuff, maybe like mix like a metal rap, maybe, and eventually do that in the future.
Is that a thing? Like
Yes, it is.
really?
Oh yeah. If you look up stuff like DVSR or Hacktivist, you'll see like groups like that mixing metal and rock together into something unique. And I'm thinking about having collaborations in the future where, let's say, like I'm experimenting something with each different artist, with no matter who, and just eventually wing it after I release the album. Because what I'm doing is right now, I got one that is pretty much done. I'm just gonna release 2 singles, and then have like once a month, and then drop the album down. Just let it build. Because a lot of people
Oh,
do
it's
like
just that bill for
album
sure.
release parties or stuff like that, and especially with me bringing such a new genre, I feel like I want to make it not like just drop the mic kind of thing, not like that, and just like, here it is. I want to like surprise it and like really catch people off guard, because a lot of people are gonna expect Shane to have rap. I think like a lot of like, let's say, new people or the people that don't know me, they're gonna expect rap out of it, and then when they hear it, they're like, "Oh, yo, this is crazy!" Even though it's different, it's not everybody's style, but they're gonna like it, and it's gonna be such a twist that a whole new genre for the city is gonna be, and I think people are gonna like what I got coming, because I'm really excited for it, because it's gonna be so fun and new for a gang RP to do, like, let's say, a gang RP style metal. It's gonna be really interesting.
I think it'd be
So,
very interesting to have that type of style. So,
especially for that.
oh, go ahead, my
Mhm.
man.
Oh, go ahead, man. Yeah.
So I kind of want to kind of see where you are, because you said you mentioned very briefly about your cop character.
hmm
So obviously with cop, it's a lot to absorb in, right? Because like, you know, as playing Crim, there's kind of, I mean, obviously there's rules, right? Like there's obviously like the you know the Crim, like
hmm
you know the gang handbook, stuff like that. You kind of have to like OC just be
hmm
aware of stuff like that.
Yeah.
Obviously there are limitations as a cop, but it's more of like a higher standard, maybe. I don't know if you agree with that or not, but like it's
Oh, there is definitely. Yeah, I
yeah,
agree.
yeah. There's a bit of a higher. entire thing kind of had to do. So when having a cop character, like, what are some of the things that you're kind of like looking forward to, and is there some things that you're kind of like eager to kind of like see, like how things are kind of transformed, like through the city?
For me, since I'm bringing this cop character, because I'm gonna be having him interviewed today. Um, I'm really excited to dive in to see how they operate and how they conduct calls and how they run the MDT and how they conduct how cops are ran professional. Because I'm so used to different cities doing cop RP, but here it's like they run it so realistically and so differently, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially there's DLC, there's like all these different types of departments that Echo has, and a lot of the high impacted different ranks of officers, right? And the way they go about things, especially for call outs and all that, right? It's really interesting to see because how that's going to be, because I feel like hearing this 10-6 thing and all these other things and seeing such a massive city that's having 300, 400 players a night, it's going to be such a different experience for me. And I feel like it's going to help me balance both Crim and Cop, especially how I approach communication, because I think Cop is going to help me in a lot of ways for my Crim gang character too.
You
I
said
noticed
you're
that with
gonna
a lot of
stream it,
people.
right? You're gonna be streaming
Oh yeah,
it, yeah.
oh yeah, for sure. I'm definitely gonna stream it because I like to. I feel like I do gang RP 99% of the time, most of my years, and I feel like I need to do more cop stuff and balance it and hopefully flourish how the city feels and how it moves, because the city has definitely changed when it comes to movement now and stuff like that. So it's very different than what it used to be. So it's gonna definitely help me with that side of things. So,
Sure.
but I'm looking forward to see how they do DLC, because like how they do the process from how you change from DLC to what your department's gonna be, because the way they operate the cop side is like really different from what I've seen, and it's, even though maybe I could be wrong, right?
I feel like it's a
But
different department anyways, right? Like, I'm pretty sure, like, obviously there's
mhm.
things that DOC can't do that cops can do. I'm pretty sure there's things that cops can't do that DOC does, you know? So it's like,
Yeah,
you're going to be learning kind of like both sides of the trait, you know?
yeah, and I think it's gonna also help me see both sides perspective, because I'm also somebody who was passionate for the server, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of like people giving their feedback and their opinions and saying their frustrations here and there, right? And I feel like me capturing both sides' perspective is going to help give both staff, devs, and everybody in general an easier way to like get everything to satisfy everybody, right? So, because I know how it feels to operate a community and how to satisfy everybody. You know, it's not easy, and people got to understand from both sides' perspective. It's not simple, and not simply to have an overnight change, right?
Sure.
And if people play both sides, I think it would help, because there's a lot of people that just one centric, cop, gang, crim, EMS, or civilian, right? And I think it's good to refreshen your mind with doing different things that you've never done. And with cop RP here, it's going to be really different for me. So it's going to be a whole new ball game, and it's going to be really fun. I'm really excited.
You know, it's
So,
crazy that you mentioned that, though, is like seeing different sides and everything like that.
mhm.
There was a time where I was on Jimmy. I was like walking on the sidewalk, just kind of mind my own business, and then out of nowhere, a full
Yeah,
fledged car chases, whips around the corner, like shit's going all over the place. They're like
yep.
yelling at each other, and it's just like on my side, I'm walking on the sidewalk, just mind my own business, everything normal. But on their side, there's like 15 things going at the same time. There's like 20 people yelling at each other, you know, and it's just like the persona of like, oh my, like I'm a bit scared right now. Like, what the fuck is going on, you know? And it's just like, just
Mhm.
seeing that different side of just like, on my side, it's like, oh, it's like, you know, they're just being fucking dumbasses, you know what I'm saying? Just driving crazy.
Right.
But then it's like, no, like they're just literally just doing a chase and trying to like stop them from
Mhm.
having to do anything, but just, you know, they can't help certain things.
Right.
Uh So we do have a question though. Lucas's
Okay.
voice for the new cop.
Oh, I was actually thinking about doing that. That might be happening. Because I was thinking about doing that. So I don't think there's any cost with that kind of style of voice. I think that would be fun.
It also
That
bring like
actually is.
a unique kind of like a unique feel to it, right? Like
Yeah, how you do the Miranda rights. Like, imagine going, motherfucker, you have the right to remain motherfucking silent. You have the right to run motherfucking attorney, man. You understand these rights I already read you, man. I can't wait to do that shit. That would be really funny.
yeah. Hopefully don't kill your voice though. Like
It doesn't,
it
actually.
doesn't? Oh shit.
No. So how I do things, I do like a lot of my metal vocal techniques, and I try to like use my diaphragm and try to do certain things that won't damage my voice or hurt me. Because you have to do it. I drink a lot of like tea or G Fuel or water, and having honey tea with it helps with your vocals too. Especially for those of you that are voice acting out there for your RP character, I definitely recommend doing that
What, honey
and
tea?
utilizing, yeah, drinking tea or having like honey with your tea or something like that, or like because it's a lot of like metal vocalists we drink a lot of those teas and stuff like that, and it really helps with your throat and for the future of your health of your vocal ranges.
Hmm.
So it's really fun, especially with me where I'm very active in the city because I am around a lot, especially I do streaming full time and music full time. So I kind of wing it sometimes a little too much. So sometimes I'd be doing like Friday, Saturdays, I'll do like 19-hour streams or 12-hour
Yeah,
streams.
yeah, that's what Vex was saying in chat that like
Oh, really?
12-hour streams, yeah.
Hmm.
Like so when doing that, like how do you give time to yourself for OOC? Like is it just
Hmm.
kind of like or do you even when you get done stream for 19 hours, like do you
Hmm.
just kind of take a break from your computer or do you just kind of like what do you do
Hmm.
after that pastime?
Okay. Well, I'll take a break for like a good like 30 minutes or an hour, and then fly back in, and vibe with the gang outside of stream, and because I know sometimes my stream can hold people's personalities back a little bit,
Right.
because I know like I don't want to force people to be what they don't want to be, but I want the people to have the freedom to be themselves, right? And not be afraid to say certain things. Just like have fun. Like, I don't want my stream to prevent other people from hiding who they are, right? And, it's really fun with that, especially every server restart. Um, I do like vocal streams for 30 minutes until the crime cooldown pretty much is over because every tsunami, you know how we can't do crime until 30 minutes. So I do that to kill off time, especially when it comes to restarts, because it helps me like not get in trouble. It really helps me
Yeah.
because the streams does benefit when it comes to things like that because it keeps you out of trouble in ways. And it also helps you because I always tell people when you RP, please record, please stream if you have something that will back your statement when it comes to especially tickets. Sometimes having proof or whatever does help staff team or dev team for bugs or whatever it is, right? Especially when you have interactions with people, I definitely recommend people to stream or record because having any kind of recording software will help. Even if you don't want to stream, it like recording is the best route. Metal, there's Metal out there, like Metal.tv or OBS Studio or Streamlabs OBS. Like, there's so many ways to capture things now, and I always recommend people like, hey, if you're having a negative experience in city, capture it. And because nowadays we need to have more footage to prove because we can't just go based off he says she says
Yeah.
bullshit, right?
Yeah.
And we all seen how that can go, where everybody's arguing back and forth. No, I didn't. And even though we don't really see that here, right? Because they do such a good job at keeping such a positive place, right? And that's a good thing. But there are also times where, like for me, with me getting like weirdos from other cities sometimes, like because I used to be staff in other cities, a lot of my people who dislike that I did my job in other cities, they come to Stream Snipe sometimes and do shitlord things, and especially with coming to streaming, you don't know what comes with it, right? If you're streaming, and just know that sometimes there'll be weirdos, right? And it comes with that. You're just gonna have to accept the fact and just get their IDs and yeet them out of there. That's all you got to do, really. And yeah,
And I've
so
never really experienced that, but it does sound a bit overwhelming. Not gonna lie to you.
it is. It can be because you've seen quite a few of the weird shit that
Yeah, I've
I
seen a little bit of.
encounter. Lately, we got kamikaze, which was kind of funny that people are trying to crash planes into me in Carter recently. It
What
was
the
really
fuck?
yeah, like literally, like one dude took his time of day to literally like slam an airplane into us, and I'm like, what the hell? It's
What
really
the
weird too.
fuck?
Yeah,
The links
sometimes
that
like
people go.
it surprises me sometimes too that people will go over the lengths of whatever to like to get.
Well, for screen time, probably, right? Just so they can get their
Yep.
face, like say, like, "Oh, I did this to Bash, by the way." Like,
Yeah, and especially I love people that do one-lifers for the stream too. I love that shit because it's really
don't
funny.
say that because okay, I don't know if you know or not, but I had a one life character, and
Uh-huh.
when I brought my character around, I took
Mhm.
it to Lola, and
Oh.
the guy wore like a pimp coat and he had like a long jaw, like red hair, and it was Phoenix
Uh-huh.
Red or some shit. And he talked like this. He said, "Oh my god, I cannot believe this." And then went around, did his own thing. And then he said, he went to Lola and said, "I got a present for you." And then she says, "Oh, okay." And then she like gets down, opens like she's like opens like slash me open the bag. She's like, "We better not be shit in this bag." He says, "There's a hot steaming pile of shit in it." And then she got up and then took out brass knuckles and just like whacked him in the fucking head. And then my guys immediately
Yeah.
went down, and I'd perma'd immediately. And
Yeah.
then kind of find out she like served time in prison or whatever, and like had a full on investigation. They took my body and like put it in the hospital, but I was like, oh, like they're not even going to try anything. Oh, yeah, it's fine, it's whatever. I deleted the character. Then I get a
Right.
message from a couple of hospitals, and they're just like, for people who work there, they're just like, hey, so we want to inspect the body. And I'm like, excuse, oh shit. And then I told him, whatever. And then a couple of days go by, and I hear through the grapevine that like Lola had a full on investigation. She's getting interrogated, like the whole 9 yards. I'm like, Jesus Christ, like
Yeah.
that's crazy, man. Like the
Yeah.
links that fucking went.
That's fun. It's really funny too, especially like during my time with Shane, in his first 2 months doing the gas stuff. Like, he definitely got tested by some one-lifers here and there too, especially during Magnum season with the cops thing twice and stuff like that. Like the encounters of like of the one-lifers I had. There was like a group of people that tried to plan to take over our block, and we had this whole shootout happen. And next thing you know, the whole police department's involved.
Oh, what the
Where
fuck?
they're shooting at everybody on our block while we're trying to fight them. I'm like, well, we got not only have to worry about the cops, but everybody's getting shot at. So we got to defend it like a motherfucker, pretty much.
Jesus.
It was so funny because they all were looking like crackhead meth heads, character looks, and it's just really hilarious. There's this one guy who's like, "Hey, muchacho," like this whole like really funny, unique voice that people would go with their one-lifers. It's really hilarious. And I also had a thought about doing a one-lifer character once with doing like a whole Jason Bourne kind of thing. I was thinking about bringing the city eventually, but I have to talk to staff about that and how to approach all parties with
Yeah,
that.
I was gonna ask you about that. If you would ever do like a one life character, and like,
Hmm.
or is that something that's like a bit out of your like comfort? Because since like you kind of only, like I said, you only played
Hmm.
like one character kind of at a time.
Right. I always wanted to do it for a lot of years, but I never really got to like do it because here in this city, I can actually be creative with the RP, and I can actually go lengths of with how to approach everything, and having the freedom to be cinematic or fun or just in general, just be able to role play. It's really a nice feeling, right? And I always see people doing like serial killer stuff or president stuff, like that one guy who did the whole Bill Clinton and
Oh yeah.
that whole deal, and everybody's tweeting like that whole jokes with the whole obviously the Bill Clinton scandal, which was really funny because you always love to see how the city reacts to one-lifers or one-time characters that are there for a certain week, and you never know what people can do because it's all, like I said with the whole role play is always unpredictable, and I love that. Right, you just never know where it's gonna take, especially people doing one-lifers, especially with the idea that I have for the maybe in the future after I get the cop streams and triad streams balanced. I'm thinking about catching the city off guard with the whole Jason Bourne thing idea. I want to get everybody involved in eventually. And
How would how would you do that though? Or
um
if you don't want to talk, if you don't want to talk about it, it's okay. I just
like I'll
you've
give you
got me
like a
intrigued.
little
Yeah, you got me
yeah
intrigued. I'm trying to see like how like you would kind of do that.
yeah so like to get like not only the cops involved but everybody in general. Like you know how the Jason Bourne movies with the whole how he's wanted and like he's an
Mhm.
assassin and he's trying to get his memory back kind of thing. And like I gotta get like certain people to add on to that twist to not only refresh his memory, but he's also the most wanted man. And like especially this would give cops a little bit of a fun break from the stereotypical like serial killer meta, whatever that people call it, because you know how that is, right? Where we've seen a lot of serial killers or whichever, right? And it's been like the most common thing. So I figured, like, hey, why not give the cops a little something positive and fun for not only cops but for crims and civs and EMS in general, right?
Yeah, there was
So I'm thinking about
there was a point where serial killers it was a bit much, wasn't it? Like
it was, yeah, it was,
because every
especially like, yeah, go ahead.
well, I'd say every turn
Uh,
you every corner you fucking turn it was like three. I think at one point it's like three serial killers just like running
there
around.
was, yeah, there was like 3 or 4. I know there was Mr. Ink, there was
Wait, do you not know?
Cannibal.
Do you not know? I played Mr. Ink.
What?
That was me.
That was you?
Yeah, that
No
was
shot. That's crazy.
yeah,
Wow. I did not expect that.
yeah,
That's incredible. That's
yeah.
wow.
I also play Apollo and the robot. By the way, Rex. That's
Oh my god. The adventures you do with those characters, that's amazing. Especially with you doing Cree Frost with the whole photography business, seeing that side of photography RP, seeing 2 to 3 different people having different identities of photography is really cool to see that flourish too, what you're doing with that. Got to give you props with how creative that is with what you're doing.
oh yeah. I mean that's like I said. It's like one. It's just something I like doing, and I kind of wanted to go deeper into it. But
It's
yeah.
really refreshing too. That I've noticed. So you're like doing something that's historic Polaroids. You're doing like this whole business, the whole 9 yards. Like, especially with business in general, especially like with Benny's coming back. I'm really excited to see what that's gonna go because I'm trying to get Shane to work at Benny's to keep
That'd be sick.
him occupied and like to
Upgrade from
really
gas to mechanic.
yeah to make him do both. Like do
Yeah.
mechanic and gang shit and continue holding it down a little so and have him. Because Shane did in his storyline, fun fact, he used to own Mosley's mech shop with 2 of his boys who were Bloods, like Mike and Jaden will know. They know this whole story from other cities that we've done. We used to own the Mosley shop. We used to operate that. And like so our characters have history of like running either doing like Mikey and Jaden operates the with Trey with the whole, LA luxury autos, some of them car sales. Wardell does the whole mechanic stuff and all the other things, right? That
Yeah.
figure, why not have Shane continue that and have him approach that in a really more fun way to see what that can take too and what kind of RP scenarios that would lead. Because knowing he's a known gang member and especially you never know what storylines that RP can take you while doing mechanic stuff while keeping him occupied and making money because he has a lot of goals of what he wants to get gun wise, car wise, and stuff like that. And I'm also planning to come up with something really creative for the future for the city to add something new that I'm just gonna surprise and eventually when I come up with more ideas how I'm gonna approach that idea eventually soon. But
Sounds
until
like a
then,
good time to me though. Like a
yeah,
little sneaky. All right.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to see how the cop stuff is gonna go if Cameron Jones does pass his interview today, because I'm gonna do it
Wait,
today.
what time is it for you to do it today?
I know there's like a line of people doing it. They're doing a whole new system. I heard. So they're like doing like, I think they're doing like people that applied are walking in, and I guess I don't know how they're approaching it because it's a whole new system PD's doing, and I'm not sure how long they're doing that system because they might go back to their old system from what I heard. But I don't know. But I saw a glimpse of like because I watched some streams today and I was seeing how they're doing it. I'm like, huh, that's new. I've never seen people do walk-in interviews like that
Yeah.
and like really like going deep, immersive style like interviews, and I don't really see that in much cities. And here, like you know how examples like Bite Me Cafe, Suchi's, and all them going through the changes with how they conduct hiring people, and especially Louis, like we're seeing a lot more people doing immersive directions. How they just like us with the gas station, where we have some people interested in working for us at the gas station, and we just got this one person who has a crim. I don't know if she's wants me to say who it is or
Wait,
not.
don't say it for sure then. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was really cool to do that side of the gas station business, continuing that lore of that, where we have someone that was interested in working with us, and I did the whole clipboard and plenty of things like that. And you know how we have scenes now
Yeah.
where you see things on the computer on the wall, and seeing the scenes really take the role play and really add on to it was really funny. And when I did that interview with her, it was really funny and really fun. It was really cool to do that too. So kind of adds on to that. So it was really fun with that. So
Well,
yeah, man.
I'm gonna just say this real quick, man. I thank you so much for coming on. It's actually been long overdue to get you on here. I wanted to get you
Thank you,
on
man.
at season 2, but season 2 was kind of experimenting. But I'm glad to be able to have you on here, and want to thank you for all the RP that you brought to the server, man. Like I'm not gonna lie to you,
Thank you.
like you've literally you've changed. Just I don't know. You've changed a lot with I think without you even knowing, like with I don't know how, yeah, especially how I approach situations and stuff like that. Like, it's kind of like especially with the Cree, like with how you've done like the gas station habit to where you're just kind of like, you found a spot that you're kind of just, this is your hub of where like people can find you and stuff like that, and how to
Yeah.
make yourself like a part of someone's story, even where you don't even have to really be there, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
you're still there to bring that RP. So I wanted to thank you for that, man.
Thank you. I'm really honored, especially coming from you, who is very known in the city for having such a huge impact with your story and how you take RP. Because you and like there's like people like I'm gonna give a couple shout out, not only to all Trians and all the gangs in the city, but to Zhang specifically and everybody just in general for teaching me how to approach role play, because it really helped me work on improving a lot of my role play, especially you and a lot of the legacy guys as well, and especially how the city feels. You guys allowed me to bring this new character in a more welcoming way and not feel much pressure to be nervous as much. And since I know how the city feels, and because you guys were all like the first group of people that first welcomed me here and taught me how this city moves and interacts and how immersive it is, and I'm really thankful for everybody teaching me that, especially to Zhang specifically. Shout out to you, man. Thank you for teaching me a lot how to approach roleplay. I really can't thank you enough for that. So,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
man.
man. So this is part of the talk show. Anybody in chat, while we're kind of closing things out, if you have any questions that you want to ask Bash, please let it not be too inappropriate. But if you want to ask him anything dealing with his roleplay or dealing with OOC stuff or anything sorts like that, this time we kind of open the floor for chat to kind of ask, or if you want to ask questions about his cop character, stuff like that. Is Shane gonna get a new wardrobe anytime soon? She got a point because Shane does wear kind of the same
Uh,
thing, kind of over and over again.
yeah, I'm gonna spice things up. Yes, I have a feeling I know who that might be. If that might be Luna, isn't it? Car, if that's you,
It
I
is.
know, I
Yeah.
know you so damn well. But yes, I'm gonna spice it up. I just like so with Shane being such a diehard represented like person who's passionate about representing the gang, and I like to like represent hard, right? And I'm not really a big fashion guy like other people are in the city because I'm a metal vocalist and a metal guy, and I always wore red and black all the time, and I've never really dove into the fashion side. So Philo and Luna and everybody, and especially the Tribes, are teaching me what they call drip because I'm a boomer, and so I'm kind of like learning what's fashion nowadays, and because I'm like a Vans shoes wearing guy, Converse wearing shoes guy, skinny jeans or baggy shirts, baggy jeans kind of thing, and that's what I grew up in a generation of, and yeah.
All right,
So
get some new drip soon. All right, all right.
yeah, hell yeah, and so yeah,
I,
I'll step it up, I promise.
I love how you already knew, already said that before I even said the name.
Oh, that's funny because she's the only one that like that's my best friend right there. Um, I got to know Car, aka Luna, through my new character. I never met her on Lucas, so I got to meet a lot of different styles of people that I'd never seen in the city before. So that also add on to a new experience with the new character. That's the most fun part about doing new characters too.
Mm.
That you never know who you're gonna meet because sometimes you might meet the same. Because most people meet the same people when their story progresses like immediately, right? So it was refreshing to me to go through a whole new approach with a character and like not knowing who you're gonna meet this time around is really cool. Especially when I did Lucas for like a year. I think I've been here for like almost a year now.
Yeah,
So
I think you have almost been here for a year now. Lucas Shane, damn, you got Will out here saying Lucas is damn.
good old Will. That's my boy Carding. The man, the goat himself. Yeah, I know he's an ex baller on Carter, so I can see why. I can see that for his perspective.
X, he still is a baller. What are you talking about, bro?
Oh, true, true,
He's still
true.
repping that purple, bro. What the fuck?
That is true. That is true. That is a good point there. Big shout out to Will.
Next question is, how do you plan on balancing a stream schedule with Shane and New Carry, aka your cop, especially with how chaotic Gang RP is? Sorry I got here late. If there's already discussion, might be. I don't think we really I don't think we discussed the balance between. Well, I think we briefly went over it, but it wasn't like. So how would you kind of balance that out, kind of?
I think how I'm gonna approach it, because I think with the hours, you know how the hours for the morning, afternoons are like from like 8 a.m. Pacific all the way till 12 noon Pacific, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do cop stuff from that time frame with my new schedule. I'm gonna do once my new character Cameron Jones does become a cop, because I'm gonna do where morning streams are gonna be cop RP, and then the 6 o'clock Eastern restart is gonna be triad content, right? Because that's when most of us are around. Like I notice a lot of us in our gang is around during the 6 o'clock Eastern restart. So I think that's going to be an easier way to balance both characters because there's a lot of new people in the city and a lot of new stuff for me that I'm going to be diving into the cops' perspective, especially since they run things different for cops. So it's not going to be immediately, oh, you're in a cadet uniform like in other cities where you're in a cadet uniform already and they're teaching you rundown. No, well, here you're going to work for it. Like you're going to be going through DOC. I think it's what, 20, 30 hours of DOC?
Yeah, it's quite a bit. Yeah.
And then they go really dived into the big ball game now where you're going to really like dive into the crazy shit where, you're doing like demands, like you're learning how police conduct this and that. So that's going to be really fun. So with this new schedule, I'm going to do when I do cop RP in the mornings and then gang stuff in the afternoon, it's going to really help a lot with mounting. I think that's going to really help, I think.
All right.
But
So
we'll see how it goes with that. So.
next question is, will the cop have drip? And then Will says doubt it. So
Yes, since that cop is gonna have the Lucas voice, since I think it's gonna be a good idea to do it because I think it's gonna be funny, and I think I want to add more personality because you know how there's Bishop, there's Daru, there is like all these other interesting personality of cops, like there's Silva, and then there's Smooth Bottom, and then there's what's that one cop? What's that cop's name? I can't remember, but like there's like a lot of like different styles of personality of cops too, right?
oh yeah, for sure. I mean the outfit, like what the cop wears, kind of like definition, like just shows, like defines like how that character's like personality traits are, or like how that character kind of reflects onto
Right.
that, right?
I figured, like why not bring in a dude that's a cop who's from the hood, bring hood attitude to the cop, and just like bring that kind of like attitude voice that Lucas had, but bring that Lucas voice to that character. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So
I think that's a great new element to it. So
yeah, and just
Will asked a very
Cool.
toxic question.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
On a scale to 1 to 10, where do you rate Naldi as a shooter?
Oh. Damn, like that. Like that. On the spot. I'll give him about a 7. I'll give him that. Big shout out to Naughty. Naughty always showed love through the streams and stuff. He's a cool dude. He's been doing a lot of cool stuff with his story, and I gotta give my respect to him for that. And it's been spicy with both our characters, like storyline. So I gotta give him a little bit of that respect. Especially with me getting better with the shooting and stuff, I'm learning a lot and improving. And Shane is slowly becoming a demon. I'm slowly getting him there. So, yeah.
All right, check, clip that, and send to him. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, man, I'm very eager to see which is better, Naldi's original Legacy disc or his shooting. Damn.
His shooting is better. Let's be honest. He has to improve a lot better with his music now compared to when he first did the diss track season. He has leveled up. He has leveled up.
Damn.
Carter being toxic. Okay. That's funny, man. I love you guys. Jeez.
Fucking A, man.
Oh, man. I can't wait for my streams to bust my balls with that one. That's going to be interesting.
I'll just constantly just post a clip in there. Easy.
Fact.
Just
everybody
drama.
loves tea, man. Yeah, everybody loves that stuff.
They're addicted.
Especially like with us. Like that's what I noticed too. When I do get to like when I do get brought out, I do get brought out a lot more in the 5 to push a gang when it comes to wars or a beef shootout. I noticed, like, this is, I don't know if anybody else agrees, but I noticed everybody loves when I go into that. Because I like to give people intense entertainment when it comes to that. Like, because I get passionate for the gang just because, obviously RP, I'm not going to go toxic. But obviously I'm going to go, yeah, big TOT, motherfucker. Like, fuck you. You dead, bitch. Like, add that little twist and just give some fun to it, and
yeah.
Because I like having fun with it, and especially when it comes to streaming, I want to like make people laugh, right, and be entertaining, even if it makes a fool out of me, right? And it's fun.
Oh, I could definitely testify that. I know what you mean by make a fool of yourself just for a laugh. 100%. There's been a bunch of weird fucking noises I make whenever Jimmy lactates or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So.
It's funny.
Yeah, I've gotten messages from my mom in the next room being like, "What the fuck are you doing in there?" It's like, just roleplay things,
Yeah.
Oh, I want to know this. Is Shane scared of the Little Soul ghost bike? Is that?
When it comes to paranormal shit, Shane is like, "What the fuck?" He gets like, "Oh, he ain't fucking with that." He gets nervous about that shit because he's like, "Oh hell no, I ain't getting possessed." Fuck
wait, there's a Little Soul ghost bike?
Yes, there is. There is a Little Soul ghost bike that just randomly show up and just drives on by, and like you'd be like, "Do you see that?" And everybody's like, "No, what are you talking about?" People act like Shane is crazy. It was so funny.
Are you sure it's not like a local like riding the bike or?
Oh no, like it'll like hop on your car. It'll just move up to you and stop, or it'll like. It's funny, man. It's really hilarious.
I heard he
Sometimes
got chased by a teddy bear. You got chased by a teddy bear?
yes, yep,
What the fuck?
yep. Me like Peter, it was like Chase and Peter saw it, and they were like tripped out, like what the hell? So it adds on to the literally funny interaction with me
Bro,
and
what the
Chase and
fuck's going on
Peter.
Little Soul, bro? What the fuck is it like?
You never know what to expect on Little Soul, man. You never know if you're gonna get shot at or chased by a ghost, or the local Yakuzas might go ape shit on us. You never know. And it's really funny seeing the Yakuzas go at it with random people too, because when they start shit, they don't realize, oh, the locals gonna start busting too.
Jesus.
So it adds on to that too, and especially like the amount of people that crash into the gas pump is so funny to me. I hate to say it because I know it's toxic, but it's really funny when like you know that there's that bubble and you just never know what to expect because like not many people realize stay back from the gas pump because you never know what to expect each day because sometimes it'll get somebody crashing into it and it's just like damn. And it adds on to
Jesus.
the EMS coming down here like what the fuck happened here? What happened? And they just all get all confused and it's so funny. It's hilarious.
Sounds scary to be in
And
Little Soul, bro. What the fuck?
yeah, it's a Little Soul's an intense place as it should be, especially with everything that is all like lived up to that point with the triads and how they are, and I love that, especially like with the mindset that the guys carried. Like they give that mindset to people like, you can't speak to us like that on our block like that, motherfucker. Like who the fuck are you? Like I love that shit because it adds on to the drama, the intensity, and
Oh, the
like
conflict,
you know,
yeah, you know.
yeah, and like as a gang surf should be when you're like that's the thing I notice with sometimes with new folks. Like some people don't realize you're in a gang surf. It's gonna feel like a gang surf. You gotta expect that.
Yeah.
And you people should be cautious how they approach because like just like IRL with gangs in general, like they're gonna be ruthless to you, and if you act up, they're obviously gonna you never know. You might have a gun to your head or a knife, or you might throw hands or whatever. You never know what to expect because like that's what I love about gang RP, and especially when it comes to territories. You know, a territory should be like how it should be acted. You know, like people should be ruthless. Like they're not there to bully you or anything. They're because that's their block. Like what do you expect, right? Like
Sure.
because I know a lot of people have their views on gang RP, and a lot of people don't seem to like this whole taxing thing. But like, what do you want us to do, right? Like, because you want more build up and more conflict or whatever, and that kind of deal. Like, it's like fun content. You meet a lot of people through that too.
Well,
I don't know what.
sometimes. Well, I mean, like, kind of going with what you're saying, right? Is like
Mhm.
whenever there's like obviously taxing stuff like that. Then believe it or not, it's actually on the Civ side too. I don't know if you would even believe that or not, because like
I believe it.
there was a time when the Polaroids was coming out, and one of like Kree's employees got a call that they asked her. They were like, "Hey, can I make the Polaroid instead of like going through you? So I can just get it for free?" And she's like, "What the fuck? No, like what? What do you mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's always gonna be someone trying to cut corners and trying not to just pay that just a small amount. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right. No matter the like, I love how with us how we approach Star Tax. Like we were being generous with the whole 2K, and then we upped it, and he's seeing their reaction when we upped it. It's like what, and seeing the change of how the city reacted to us was so interesting, and seeing how much more conflict or how much more reactions came out of it too. It's like, especially with the role play, it's been so cool because with us, it's like this is probably the most immersive gang I have ever been a part of, and most story driven as well. So it's been adding a whole new twist of how I approach things with the character too. So it's really fun with that too. So
so
yeah, man.
the next question is: do you ever set terms to perma characters, or just go with the flow?
Okay, that's a really good question. With Lucas, that was all like unplanned. So I just went with the flow of the RP and the flow of everything with that, right? So I just like randomly like, you know what? I'm just gonna wing it and just see what happened, right? And I didn't expect it to have the reaction that it had, or the amount of people to show up to the funeral, especially with that story with Lucas, like when he got overthrown, the whole city just like rioted. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I did not expect any of that. And it was so funny too, like, because you never know what to expect, and I didn't think that character had such an impact like that, because that's the crazy thing about roleplay, especially here. Like, everything is so unplanned and organic, and you just never know how people are gonna approach you, and that's the best part about it. And it kind of threw me off. I was like, wow, damn, seeing people talk about how much they love the character during the funeral and see the emotions. And with my streams, I like to um, play background music with certain situations, because I wanted to add on to the immersion with that and make it movie like for people for the stream. And it's fun to do that. So I like to make it entertaining with that side. And with permaing characters, it's tough. And especially with seeing certain people that permit, seeing certain groups of people. And it was the unexpected one. I was shocked with that one. The Weasel News guy, what was his name? What's that
Dylan.
name?
Like Dylan.
Yeah, Dylan and Crackhead Willie. Like certain other, like, when I heard about Preston stuff, I was like, what?
Yeah.
When I came back to that, when I first came back to the city, I was so caught off with so much changes. You never know what to expect, whether you're returning or you're around a lot, and you just never know what roleplay is going to take, because everything is so unexpected. Like, and because you expect this to not happen. Like, well, I don't know about you, but you think this person's going to be a long-lasting character or whichever it is, and it's always interesting to me. So I just normally just go with the flow of things when it comes to that side, and just if it feels right, it feels right, you know. So
I feel you
yeah.
on that. I think that for me personally, like, I don't know. I feel like with the characters I have, I it's just, it gets very like because I can't. I feel like I can't perma Jimmy because he's you know, it's just I can't. And Kree, I just can't do it either. So it's just like, you know. And I think with my other characters like Hollow or my Crim character, like I feel like I'm like maybe I might, you know, but even then it's just like it's like a line just like cross. Me personally.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, yeah. It's always like a really interesting thing, especially like for you, for instance, like for you and a lot of the music side, like especially with you guys doing such a new twist with your music direction now. Like, I'm seeing a lot of people's characters going out of their comfort zone, and it's really cool to see
Yeah, we
that.
got Kari to fucking sing finally. He fucking, you have
Hmm.
no idea the amount of arm pulling and yelling at him, and it was just like, just sing on a song, and he's like, fuck no, no, and like tell me to shut up, and then he'll do the fucking voice clip of me. There was a voice clip of Jimmy doing like a bedtime story, and he was like, be like, "Mwah, good night," and I'm just like, bruh, like I'm trying to get you to sing, and you're not. I don't understand, you know, and yeah, so when we finally got him to sing, I was like, bro, it literally took us a year. It took us a whole ass year just to get you to sing on a song. Like
Wow.
next step is country though. That's the next step.
Oh, I would be intrigued on that,
Yeah.
especially with now. Like, I noticed a lot of people were doing a lot of their doing very freaky songs now. I've noticed in the city now, so I'm like, dang, everybody's doing 40 Jail style music now. Like, what the hell is going on with this?
Is something
I
is my
noticed that.
phone going off? What the fuck?
That's me. Give me just a second. I'm
Oh.
so sorry.
Oh, it's all good. It's freaking me out. Yes, Will, you are going to country, whether you like it or not. Also, M4H, how you doing, man? Hope you're doing well. Welcome to the stream. Sadly, we're kind of closing the stream off a little bit. We're actually just kind of getting questions around for Bashinskulls. Thank you for coming by, though. It means a lot. This Fleeka, oh my god, is that your Fleeker timer? Dang, dude, get called out. Dang, imagine having your ringer on during a very important. Oh my god, you think my podcast is important? Oh shit. That's cool. Thank you. That's very sweet. At work, so I try to pop in when I can. Well, that means a lot, man. Thank you so much. And I hope that you have time to check out the VOD if you wanted to check it out. Also, if you want to check out your Jimmy the walking heart attack, right? Well, he lost weight today, so don't have to worry about Big Jimmy. He literally went out, worked out, he took a big shit, and just now he's back to being skinny. So now we gotta go talk to a book company about his civilian handbook. Funny.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Apologies.
Was that your Fleeka timer going on?
I love that. That's such a funny inside joke that everybody has. Because there are people that are out there that does that.
Oh yeah, well there's times where I'm
It
talking to
surprises
people.
me.
Yeah, dude, talking to people. All of a sudden I hear it, and he's like, "I gotta go." It's like, wait, what? Okay, all right, bye. I guess.
My fault. There, it's just like something just happened that I didn't expect. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's all good. No
But
worries, man.
yeah, like I noticed that with the with a lot of certain people, like there's groups out there that min-max the hell out now, especially with the new changes with the cooldowns now, which it's so much better now. I feel like the state is currently being able to hit stuff a lot more now, not wasting a hostage time. It's so relieving now, even though it's still difficult because you got 300, 400 people in the city, right?
Yeah.
Half are either civs, crims, or gangs, or whichever, right? And new people that are trying out crim stuff for the first time too. So it's like like people kind of like treat it as a race in a way, because like you have to like really nail it before it gets it. Because sometimes when you go to do a job, it's unlucky that sometimes you can't hit it, and you feel bad that you wasted hostage time sometimes, and it can be very overwhelming with that sometimes. So
For sure.
it's nice to see that state changed.
So with our last question before we do end things, got one from Will saying, "Would you rather be called Baby Dragon or a Salamander?"
I like both. They're both really funny nicknames that I love, that I kind of like stuck with ever since then. And I was like, I kind of just rode the ride with that, and just went with it. But I like the Baby Dragon. Just sounds cooler to me, because a lot of people, the way people react and how they approach and say it, it's really funny all the time. So I love it. I encourage more people to. Yeah, if it's Cooter saying it's definitely, when it comes to saying a Cooter, they say it's a salamander.
Salamander.
Because I'm still a baby. I'm still a young one. I'm like their apprentice. Like with Zhang, he's like the emperor, and like Cooter and Trey and all them. They're like, I'm like their Jedi apprentice or their Sith apprentice to their, and they're teaching me their ways and trying to become a master of my own from. So it's been a fun experience with that too. That is refreshing. You're literally their little bearded dragon, to be honest. Yep. Yep. True.
Jesus.
Oh man, that's so true though.
But I wanted to thank you again, man, for coming on. It was a phenomenal time just to fucking dissect your characters and your RP. And
Yeah.
like I said, man, I wanted to thank you again for just kind of like helping motivate, just not even just myself, but just other people around us to kind of like, I don't know, like you said, you honestly, it's gonna sound crazy, but like Baby D, oh Jesus, but like you've set up like a bar of RP. I feel like that is like communication is always key, and like knowing people is going to be the most powerful thing, right? Like the word of mouth is always going to be probably one of the most powerful. Like, I mean, for God's sakes, even on Lucas, you got Jimmy to just sell you meth crystals just as like a little fucking thing. And so like stuff like that, to where it was like you build this net that was just like, hey, you trust me, like I literally just want like a fair trade type thing,
do business.
Yeah, that's nothing right in business. It's just like going back and forth type thing. So yeah,
because like there's the thing that people don't realize with roleplay is valuing your connection was the biggest thing I learned over the years. Is valuing the connections and the business partners and the people you have, because that is key. Just like chemistry when it comes to gangs, and because that is the big key. And ever since I learned that, I had to like utilize that lesson and put a twist with it and just wing it. And I didn't expect it to come that far or even have it be where it is right now. Which is still overwhelming at times. So
For sure. But I think that there's always going to be that time of like, it'd be overwhelming, but I think that just for you, like with your experience of with how you can handle things, I think you're always going to definitely like even the playing field out to where it's still a lot, but it's also just doable and able to like function through without having to like worry about too much, you know?
yeah.
But yeah, so with every at the end of every talk show, I always ask the guest, who should we raid? Who do you feel like we should raid?
Ooh. You know, that is a good question because there is a few that are streaming right now. You know, there's this one dude that I love from BCSL. He's really funny that I always interact with whenever I get pulled over or arrested. I feel like Stabbing Champs, aka Jimmy Blanks, is a cool little, good choice for me. I think.
All right, let's do that.
I think
then.
it'll be yeah.
Oh yeah, all right.
I think it'll be a good way to get y'all's that's perspective because he's a funny guy and such an interesting dude. So
Shane's gotta go check on cargo. Y'all, it's a wrap.
yeah, right. You gotta hold it the hell down. And shit. I gotta get my cops characters interviewed, so I gotta get that out of the way before I hop on Triad. So
And that's why I wanted to go ahead and get this up so you don't, miss your chance or anything like that. But thank you again, man, for coming on. It means a lot. And
yeah, no problem. It's an honor, man. I'm very honored to be here and such a fun time. I'm looking forward to seeing you do more of these, man. It's really awesome, man. Keep at it.
It was crazy is I never really thought this was gonna be like this type of like people were genuinely like liking it. In the beginning part, it wasn't as well looking as this. It was just like a simple, just a profile picture, and that was it. But again, before I do end, all the art that's drawn was drawn by Pandai. Like I said before, if you want to support an artist that does this stuff out of city, trust me when I tell you this, her work is phenomenal. Pricing is very affordable for obviously the quality that she does. If you need any type of art stuff, she is definitely the way to go. So
hell yeah. Very amazing art, just seeing that too. So I gotta give that props to her, especially with how amazing this looks for the background that she done for you. This looks incredible.
Oh, yeah,
I don't know how you did all this.
Drew everything, like from the couch to the little characters, the rice, the table, my desk, like everything. Yeah, props to the artist, man. She's phenomenal.
That's awesome.
But I'm gonna go ahead and start this raid up. Again, chat, if you don't mind, if you do have it, make sure to spam some sussy jimmies in this chat, just to go ahead and make him have like a wonderful day with the booty. You know what I'm saying? But again, I appreciate you so much, Bashinskulls, for coming on, man.
Thank you so much.
And again, I appreciate everyone in chat for hanging out for as long as we did stream today. Saturday is gonna be Poppy. She's gonna be on, so make sure to clear your schedules for Saturday. It's gonna be a good time. We're gonna go ahead and raid Stabbing Champs now. See y'all soon.
Hell yeah. Later, guys.
Raided.